All right, it's another beer from Boston Beer Company out of Boston, Massachusetts. As we are into fall now, we're into October of 2020. Sorry, air hockey paddle. And we're going to be doing a brand new beer from Sam Adams. It's called Jacko. I guess this is kind of the replacement for the Harvest Pumpkin Ale, which is kind of an on-again, off-again ale that they released, re-released. Hasn't been around for a couple of years, I guess, and this is a different kind of pumpkin ale than the Harvest Pumpkin Ale. It only comes into us at 4.4% ABV. It has 8 IBUs. It's kind of on the lower end, obviously, of this style of beer, and it's brand new for 2020, and they're kind of really selling this pretty heavily. It comes in 12 packs. It also comes as part of their sweater weather fall variety pack, along with their Oktoberfest, the Sam 76, and of course, the Boston Ale, and or Boston Lager, I should say. And this one kind of ups the cinnamon and nutmeg. It says cinnamon and nutmeg aromas recall memories of fresh baked pumpkin pie. It has the ideal balance of seasonal spices with a crisp, refreshing finish. This pumpkin ale pairs perfectly with the transition of summer into cooler days. Okay, so we have 2-row pale malt, malted wheat, and also Hallertau hops in this particular beer. And it's very, very orange, as you could say. I should say. I don't know why it's called Jacko. Maybe after Michael Jackson? Probably not. I don't think people want things associated with Michael Jackson in 2020, but interesting to look at anyway. This is the number 367th ranked pumpkin ale on Beer Advocate, so nothing really special as far as the ratings go with this beer. And as we pour it in, we do see that medium amber look to it. Maybe a little greater than medium, with a very, very thin, small head. Very, very thin, paper thin almost. A little bit heavier than a lot of the pumpkin ales, and definitely saturated. Definitely stuff going on in here. Can barely see my hand through it. So aroma-wise, yeah, getting a very nutmeggy kind of smell. The pumpkin's definitely in there. Hint of cinnamon. Kind of just your normal pumpkin ale kind of smell. So let's get a taste. Yeah, so the cinnamon and nutmeg do hit the tongue right off the bat. The pumpkin is a little less pronounced. It is there. And it does have a little bit of a more kind of a processed taste, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't know. Rather than the more fresh pumpkin ales you get out of a Southern Tier Pumpkin, for example. A little more creamy, I think, than a Southern Tier Pumpkin. Doesn't have the bite, of course, doesn't have the alcohol legs that that one has. This one coming in at 4.4%. So almost like a session pumpkin ale, you could say, is what this beer kind of is. But a decent effort. I just don't think it's very, very memorable, or just a beer that I would really go for out of a pumpkin ale. It's got to be a good pumpkin ale for me to really make that extra effort and partake of it, because it's a style that has a time and place, but after all said and done, I want a different kind of beer for the most part. But decent. I'm gonna go ahead and give Jacko a 6.5 out of 10, I should say. The look is very saturated. I don't like the fact that there's no head. It's almost like citrus, like juicy kind of look to it, which I don't like out of a pumpkin ale. Aroma is a little bit less pronounced than you would like it. Taste is probably where it does its best, although it has that processed kind of taste. It's kind of just blah. And I'll have to go back and look to see, because I know I reviewed Harvest Pumpkin Ale a while back, years ago, and I'll have to see what I gave that, because I kind of remember liking that pretty well. Maybe not to the extent of a pumpkin to that point, but I do like, is it Fat Jack or Double Jack? Sam Adams does, but that's more of a I don't say one-off because they do produce it every year, but it's a little more difficult to find. It's not quite as mass-produced, I don't think. But just kind of your run-of-the-mill pumpkin ale that probably could taste a little fresher. 6.5 out of 10 for Samuel Adams Jacko.